Hello again, Jim here from Remick Museum and Farm, and I'm over at the garden shed because I wanted to give you a little update on how things are going along at the garden. I might be a little biased, but I think very well. If you've been following along on our new Facebook and Instagram series Tendrils, you'll be seeing what we've been getting in our staff CSA boxes each week, and it's been pretty amazing. There's been some tasty carrots and cucumbers and squash and all kinds of delicious things. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to check that out because it's a cool thing to see what's coming out of our garden each week. And Shannon, our gardener, gives some great tips about things she's growing, a little bit of history of it, how things are progressing, all kinds of cool little tidbits. But I just thought I'd do a little walk around and see how our garden is progressing this summer. We saw some things earlier on, and I just thought you might be interested in seeing how things are growing. So let's take a look.
As you've probably noticed in my intro, I've really seen an increase in the amount of crickets and grasshoppers around the garden with the tall grass. Hopefully that's also adding to lacewings and other beneficial insects. First up is the Early Republic Garden down here at the bottom of the hill, and it's looking great. It gets a lot of the moisture from being at the bottom, so it's usually always in a good place. But one of the big projects we've been working on this summer is getting these mulch paths completed that I started earlier in the summer, and they're coming together pretty nicely. And you can see here we've got a nice pumpkins are starting to peek through all the foliage there, and pretty excited about those here for the fall. And we move our way up here to the Victorian Era Garden, and it's been doing really well. You can see the nice corn growing there. The carrots are about ready to be pulled. I'm sure they're going to be delicious, and a lot of other great things coming out of here. And you can see the white coverings on some of our plants. Shannon has been covering a lot of our insect susceptible plants and has really had some success with that. A lot less time for her having to pick all those off. Again, we're not using pesticides, and a lot of those have been squash, which are doing really well. I've been eating a lot of squash this summer, and I have zero complaints about that. And again, here we've got most of the mulch pathways walked, and again, that's really cut down on a lot of weeding time. And for next summer, I'm excited to get the time period specific fencing back around our exhibit gardens. Finally, the Victory Gardens are doing well as well. You can see some of our growth going on, some more of the covered crops, and these onions are looking fantastic. I'm excited to see how those turn out. Unfortunately, we had a deer catch wind about how productive the gardens have been and snuck in for a snack, but we haven't been doing too bad with intruders. Basically the deer and some groundhog. Here we are at our upper or experimental gardens, and you can really see how well the ground cover has taken off. We've got a mixture of some peas and oats and things in there, and we've been super happy with how it has been growing. And here pretty soon, these troublemakers are going to get to go graze on all of that in hopes of getting some food, but also adding some nutrients again to the soil. In the other side of the experimental garden, in which we had ground cover last year, we've got a lot of our tomatoes that aren't in the greenhouse right now, and getting ready for all the explosion of colors that will provide from the reds, and we got some purples right now, and different types of, we've got cherry tomatoes and plum tomatoes, so it'll be a really fun thing to see. And finally, towards the end of this summer, we are putting most of our attention into the medicinal herbal garden, and really trying to mulch it, weed it, move some things around. We really want it to be more accessible to the public so you can walk around and see all the different things, highlight some of the different plants a little bit better, and just make it a little more visually appealing. And before we go, I wanted to bid farewell to our goose family. I saw a lot of training flights, and they've moved on for the rest of the summer.
Alright everyone, that's our video for the week. Hopefully you enjoyed our little tour of the garden and see how we've progressed this summer, how things are growing, and all the things that we're doing right now to keep making things a little better. Hopefully if you're in the area you can stop by and give us a visit, come see it on your own. We're going to be open every day for a few more weeks. And if you're following along at home on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and subscribe. And if you are following along on Facebook, you can give us a like and share with your friends. And I'll say goodbye and stay well, everyone, and have a nice week.